Hello and welcome to Pluribus Unum's Fireside Chats. Not as good as FDR's, but hey, it's something. Now, this episode, first thing I gotta say is disappointment that last week did not have a main series video. I don't know what the fuck happened in the most honest sense. I just don't know what happened. Everything was fine, but when it came time to export, it just was not fine. Yeah, not much else for me to say on that. If you go on my Patreon, you could see the original audio of that episode. I'll probably try again in the future. It'll probably be... I did have some slots later in the year that I just didn't know how to fill them, and sure enough, I guess it got filled now. Thankfully, next month, the first episode for Black History Month was going to be a politics and media related one anyways, but it's not really going to be a politics and media in like the traditional sense, kind of. Basically, I wanted to label it politics and media. I wanted to do this before the politics and media got canceled, but, regardless. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's get right into the news. First, why don't we cover some good news? Because believe it or not, there actually was one small, slight, possible hint of good news. Biden has commuted the sentence of Indigenous activist LEONARD Peltier. For those who don't know, LEONARD Peltier is a Indigenous activist who was, prominent in the Indigenous movement long ago, and he allegedly got into a shootout with police officers. But there wasn't really any evidence that he really did get into a shootout with the police officers. The evidence was shaky. I made a video about his case a while ago. I guess since he's free, it'll be open up to have a happy ending for if I do a Who is Leonard Peltier story. From prison, he ran for president in 2004 under the Peace and Freedom Party and attempted to be the running mate of Gloria La Riva in 2020. And basically, he became kind of not like a fringe idea, but he became a thing that kind of it was prominent for every leftist has to do a free blank at some point in their lives, whether it be free Assange, free Snowden, free Peltier, free Mumia, free Angela. I think Huey P. Newton was arrested too, so free Huey. Yeah, but everybody does one of those at least once. And Leonard Peltier became very notable, especially considering they requested his commutation or pardoning multiple times. It's a very famous story of literally, during the Clinton administration, Amy Goodman of Democracy Now! Literally demanded, in Clinton's final weeks of president, she demanded, she had him on the air, and she said, you need to free Leonard Peltier, and then he said that he will look into it. And then he didn't end up freeing him. Obama was asked to free Leonard Peltier, that didn't end up happening either. I guess they were able to get it by Biden. I don't know why Biden was able to do it, but not the rest of them, but Leonard Peltier's free. Good news, everybody. But was there any good news after that? No, because afterwards Donald Trump got inaugurated as president of the United States, and literally afterwards I'm sorry guys, but I just been 100% vindicated for my Kamala Harris vote. For all those people that are who hate Democrats and their entire personality on the left is hate Democrats, fuck Democrats, whatever. I've been 100% vindicated because literally every single thing that has happened is literally been... Guys. Okay, first, at the inauguration party, Elon Musk did a Nazi salute. Just openly, unequivocally did a Nazi salute. Just and right-wingers are just yeah. And then just move on. It's what planet are we living on? What fucking planet are we living on? Where it's just yeah, the richest man in the world can attend an inauguration and just do a Nazi salute and no one bats an eye. And what's worse is CBS 58 weather reporter Sam Cuffell is out after criticizing Elon Musk's Nazi salute. The news story says arm gesture, it's Nazi salute. Unequivocally, it was a Nazi salute. Literally. And everybody has just kind of, it's really hard for me to even describe because just the story is just so fucking stupid. And media organizations have been running cover for this person, trying to compare Sam Cuffell to people who've raped people and have threatened death to politicians. And the reason is because literally every single media organization is bought and paid for by right-wingers, and apparently everybody just found out today, and this is where I'm going to have to call out AOC, because this is a thing, like AOC is stated like every single social, because everybody pointed this out, every single social media site is owned by right-wingers, but then AOC made a video where it's like, except for Blue Sky, it's like, no, not except for Blue Sky. Blue Sky is owned by Jack Dorsey, who backed Tulsi Gabbard and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. It is owned by right-wingers. Literally every single person who owns every company ever is right-wing, because they are inevitably capitalist. And they want to choose to save their capital over literally anything else. That's why Elon Musk, a person who literally, for all intents and purposes, was centrist and like center-left to an extent, magically just decided to endorse Donald Trump and just go on his midlife crisis. Yeah, and Donald Trump has been getting to work with his executive orders. Let's just read over some of them. Like this is a list of all of his executive orders on day one, essentially. Clemency for January 6 offenders and defendants, including people who attacked police officers, like not just the non-violent ones, violent ones as well. Everybody, like Republicans tried to like wag the finger, like, what? Why did you? This is literally what he said he was going to do. I don't know why anybody's surprised. He pretended to save TikTok, and then TikTok basically said, yes, Donald, thank you. Thank you, Donald. Like, because of course, banned federal workers from working at home and forced them to come back. He's withdrawn from the U.S. Climate Agreement again. He's withdrawn from the World Health Organization. He's implemented extreme strict immigration executive orders. He tried to end birthright citizenship. It's currently being fought in court. Death penalty for unauthorized immigrants who murder law enforcement officers. He's faked making executive orders about he wants to cut. Like, he cut regulations, and he's trying to, like, say, like, we're going to cut prices, even though there's nothing of the sort. He's ended DEI, and he's also done other things that are not necessarily in those executive orders. One of the big things he also did is that he decided to literally just cancel every single funding to every single health organization in the United States until February 1st. And, shock of all shocks, all of these things were in Project 2025, which, again, guys, I've been vindicated once again, and all of them have immediately led to many big problems, including the fact that bird flu is starting to pick up, and now we have literally cut funding from every single health, like, thing ever. Literally, just cut. Now, shock of all shocks, eggs are now being, like, literally, farmers are being forced to kill all their animals because of the bird flu epidemic that we have no way to actually fix. Because Trump cut all the funding to them. And surprisingly, now the farmers have to kill all their livestock to not get, that means no more eggs. Egg prices have started to go up. Literally, one of the things conservatives kept posting every day, oh, by January 21st of this year, the egg prices are going to go down. Egg prices that went up. There are people who were running who were going through cancer treatment or like cancer-related things. Now all of a sudden, they can't get any help because Donald Trump cut all the funding. Ton of VA people, like the VA starting to get a lot of people get kicked out of their jobs. There was literally a post that I saw of this conservative. I don't remember his name. I don't care about his name. And he was basically one to be like, Donald, there seems to have been a little bit of a oopsie doodle because when you did your DEI cutting, it turns out my wife, she doesn't have a job anymore, so we're gonna like be homeless and like not have any money anymore. Can you like put her back in her job, please? It's like, no, fuck you. I'm glad you're homeless. And with the immigration thing, ICE raids have just started happening, and apparently a Secret Service agent tried to kidnap an 11-year-old. I saw a tweet here, and it's like, I agree with it 100%. Hear me now, quote me later. There are going to be American children that are going to be sent to other countries that are going to be forced into slavery or whatever because Americans are stupid and don't understand how the immigration process works. There were immigrants at the border that were literally on their way to go fully legally into the United States, but then Donald Trump shut down the process for them to even get into the United States legally. Now they're going to be forced to have to come here illegally, and shock of all shocks, the issue is not going to be solved. People argue about his birthright citizenship thing. It's like, oh, it can't pass the Constitution. Whatever. I don't have faith that the Republicans give a shit about the Constitution. I know this because it's another news story. But yeah, ultimately it's just like, yeah, I've just been vindicated. I genuinely just been vindicated. The fact of the matter is, like, guys, I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm at the point where it's just like, yeah. I mean, a lot of people were trying to be like, look, you don't understand. Like you're being a bit hyperbolic. You're being like doomeristic when you're saying like, oh, there's not going to be a 2028 election. You know, America's not doomed. Blah, 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 blah. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. It's like, this week has just proven me right. I'm sorry, guys. This week has just proven me right. And I think one thing that ultimately shows that is the fact that today, as of today, literally today, or like 2 days ago, Tennessee Congressman Andy Ogles literally has proposed a resolution that wants to create a path for a third Trump term. And a lot of people have tried to make jokes about like, Obama, we can have Obama run for third term and then Trump will have to run against Obama. But it's like, no, this guy's already thought about that. He wants to create the bill specifically so that Trump can get another term, but Obama can't. Like literally, the bill specifically wants to change the 22nd Amendment of the Constitution, which states very unequivocally and clearly, no person shall be elected to the office of the presidency more than twice, and no person who has held the office of president or acted as president for more than 2 years of a term to which some other person was elected president shall be elected to the office of the president more than once. Do I think that this is going to get passed? I don't know, because ultimately the fact of the matter is he wants to change an amendment to the Constitution, but doesn't actually want to amend the Constitution. I don't know the whole constitutionality about this, but again, I don't think the Republican Party gives a shit about the Constitution, and I have absolutely zero faith that Donald Trump will inevitably. Here's the fact of the matter. I don't believe that Trump is going to leave. Like, guys, you don't understand. It's not a matter of I don't think he's going to leave. The last time he lost, he refused to leave until he was forced out by the VP. I don't think it's going to happen this time. And with all this climate change and with this WHO, we're all probably going to die by the end of his term anyway, so there isn't going to be any chance for 2028. I will say, if the world does continue if the world doesn't implode, and if it's just the United States, good news for China, because China is going to absolutely love what's happening, because China has just announced that they are going to join and make the WHO way more better. They're going to put all the funding in the WHO. I wonder if that's going to do anything to shift global hegemony. I wonder. And then Donald Trump's going to get mad and is like, why is the world going to China? It's like, yeah, because you turned your back on the world, you fucking dumbass. Like, what do you think is going to happen, you fucking idiot? Sorry to be a Debbie Downer on the news stories in this one, but it's just like, guys, this whole week's just been shit. I have no faith. This is just the first week, and the world's already imploding. But if I want to channel this into something better, let's move on to the main topic of this episode. A series that I haven't done in a while. Yes, for a brief period of time, Thoughts On is back. Again, only for a brief period of time. There are really only 2 users that I really felt that I needed to talk about, for 2 very different reasons. One of them I felt was a very important, moral issue, and the other one was more of not necessarily a moral issue, but more of I guess I'll just say the latter one is this episode. The latter one is this episode. This is the one that I don't really know how to label it. It's not a moral thing. I guess not technically. But, it's, I guess I'll get into it. I guess I'll just get into it. Because there's a lot more that I need to say. Especially considering the audience that I have. It's a little bit confusing. The user in question is JJ McCullough. JJ McCullough is a Canadian YouTuber who makes videos on culture, history, and politics. He used to be and still is technically a journalist, but transitioned to be a YouTuber in 2015. It's been proving to be a good endeavor on his part, as he's amassed a grand total of 976,000 subscribers as of the time I wrote this, and is self-admitted to have a 6-figure income from YouTube alone, and apparently $313.08 a month from Patreon alone. And he's seemingly able to keep himself well-liked. He frequently guest stars on podcasts and such, and is, for the most part, avoided major controversy, a rarity in political YouTube. I've seen people from the right, left, and center say that they like to watch JJ McCullough. I'll go to JJ's page, and then I'll see, also followed by blah, blah, blah. And it'll be yeah, a lot of people follow his accounts, and, subscribe to his accounts, and, they share his accounts. Even to the point where I even suggested possibly making a video about him, or even suggested some slightly critical statements of him. There were some people that I'll follow that had relatively similar politics to me that were confused, huh? What do you mean? But back to JJ, one of the things that's interesting about him is that he's a gay conservative. A gay Canadian conservative. That's what kind of makes a lot of people think he's a little interesting. You don't see many of those lying around. As stated prior, there are many people who are even on the left and liberals that end up in JJ's audience. Just like JJ. And here's the thing. I used to be one of them. I was in JJ's audience. I followed JJ for a while. I thought his videos were somewhat informative, entertaining, they were interesting. Probably very similar to a lot of the people that are in around my circles that do like JJ. Which is why it probably slightly surprises them that when they mention JJ around me now, I'm literally just I absolutely fucking hate him. In the most honest sense, I fucking hate JJ McCullough. Hate is such a strong word. Yeah. Did I stutter? And I would highly encourage you that if you are left-wing or liberal or basically anything that is not a conservative, you should honestly just unsubscribe from JJ. In the most honest sense. I'll be real, guys. When you as a liberal or leftist come to me and say, I watch JJ McCullough, you're essentially coming to me and saying, I watch Ben Shapiro. I've made multiple videos in the past explaining how I don't like JJ. I think he's not that intelligent. I don't think his information is that well researched or well thought out. But I'll happily do it again. And when I say that, I don't mean like a snarky sense. I genuinely mean I'll happily do it again. But first, let me explain. When did I first start not liking JJ? Well, one of the first videos that I saw that made me start to question JJ was a video that he made where he was like, I went to Israel recently. That's not what caused me to hate it. But he said, I went to Israel recently, and they have 10 political parties. So I thought, hey, the United States had 10 parties. That'd be kind of cool, right? And then he listed 10 parties in the United States that he's like, oh, these are 10 parties in the United States that would exist if the United States had a 10-party system. And even as a fan, I was just like, dude, you're just so absolutely just wrong. This is just unequivocally wrong. One, did not include the Libertarian Party. I don't know why he didn't include the Libertarian Party. Literally anybody who understands any basic knowledge about American political scene would probably factor in the Libertarian Party as one of the prominent outsider forces among the major parties, especially considering the fact that there's a large libertarian wing of the Republican Party. Wouldn't the Libertarian Party make sense? It just makes the most sense. That's quite honestly one of the first parties that most people think of when they want to make a multi-party United States. Whether or not, I don't know if they've put it usually big. Even when I was thinking about it, I don't think it's that big. I'm just it's just big enough that it would be in the force. Then also, for some reason, decided to create a Catholic party in the video. Because he basically went, well, Catholic parties exist worldwide. So yeah, why would the Catholic party exist in America? They exist worldwide. Well, okay, yeah. But they exist in countries where the most dominant, Christianity, faith is Catholicism. He didn't provide any citations oh, here's a country where there's a Catholic party and a Christian party. They're separate parties. He provided zero citation that would happen. And then also went on in the video to explain that even though he said that the Catholic Party would be big enough to be a political bloc, he also then said, oh, but I see this party as teetering on the brink of relevancy as more and more conservative Catholics would vote for the Christian Party, and then maybe if they're not conservative Catholic, they vote for one of the other parties. Wait, so you're already, deconstructing your own fucking, fantasy? What? Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but when I made my version of, a multi-party United States, I tried to make sure that there weren't any, overlapping parties. You could see, some, alignment in the sense of, the Populist Party might have, some close relationships with the Socialist Party, but it's not like you're going to see a lot of people in the Populists magically, I'm not going to say it's oh, I see the Populists as teetering on the brink of relevancy, as some of them, as the ones who love unions, would probably support the Socialist Party, then some of the more conservative ones would probably support one of the other parties. It's I don't think that would be the case. I think it would be viable enough to have their own political force. I have enough faith in that model that it would be in that model. But the one that really got me going, the one party that really, really made me go this man has no fucking clue what he is talking about, is when he went on a spiel about a Latino party. Like, in every sense of the word, every single part of his section is the most dumb shit I have ever heard. It shows a complete lack of understanding of American politics. It shows a complete lack of understanding of the Latino population. It's just in the best case scenario, JJ is just stupid. In the worst case scenario, I guess I can't say what the worst case scenario is yet. We gotta get to the later parts of the video. But complete and total ignorance. One of the big things that he was like, well, the party would be united on things like immigration, labor rights, and the rights of Spanish speakers. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. One, the rights of Spanish speakers isn't a thing in America. America does not have language-based issues. That's a Canadian thing. Americans' quote-unquote language-based issues are ethnically based. And again, pretty dumb shit, because he's just like, well, they'd be united on things like immigration and labor rights. No, they wouldn't, you dummy. Those are issues that are very divisive in the Latino community. And there's a reason for that in multiple ways. One, age. Age is a very big thing. There are a lot of older Latinos who have very different politics than younger Latinos or Latinas. Another one is that Latinos are basically taking all these people from vastly different areas of the world, Cuba, Puerto Rico, Mexico, Uruguay, Brazil, sometimes, Colombia, Venezuela. They're shoving all these people together into one political group and just saying, yeah, we're just going to round up the averages of all you guys. When I stated in that video, there's a vastly different reason why a lot of people would be different. Look, guys, I'm going to be real. Literally, just objective fact. Person comes, immigrates from Mexico to America. They are most likely immigrating away from neoliberal capitalism. Like, fuck neoliberal capitalism. I hate neoliberal capitalism. Autocracy. Ugh, gross. Get out of here. Then they come to America. They probably will come to America with a somewhat different political views. I don't know. Maybe they'll just come in and they don't change their political views at all. My father was he immigrated here and he had a relatively centrist political views. So it's I don't think he liked the PRI. I don't think anybody in Mexico likes the PRI really, except for people who are making money in the PRI. Meanwhile, a person who is immigrating from Venezuela is immigrating away from socialism, allegedly. As the party is the party of socialism in Venezuela. They're running away from Chavismo. They're like, we don't like this. We want to get out of here. So when they come to America, naturally they're going to be a lot more right wing. Any single research could have shown you that this makes sense, because literally, you want to know how many? Because this is the thing. It's he tried to just do Black Caucus. So yeah, Black political party. Yes. Well then, let's talk about this. Congress has 2 Latino caucuses, one for Republican Latinos, one for Democratic Latinos, because they have vastly different political ideas. He makes a point in the video. I'm pretty sure he makes a point in the video about black conservatives. Black conservatives are there, but they don't really represent a majority of the black population. So we're taking that into consideration. It's dude, the Latino population is very evenly divided in regards to their politics. In presidential elections, there's a little bit of a lean, at least historically, but it's still not enough. It's not like the black population where it's 80% vote for the Democrats and then 3% vote for Republicans. It's 60 and sometimes 40. It's not that much of a divide. Latinos are not, nor have they ever been, a monolithic voting bloc in the U.S. history. And literally anybody who has been to America can fucking tell you this. Anybody with a Google account who goes on Google and goes and sees how the Latino voting bloc and how Latinos are, you can go yeah, you know what, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Even worse, as he just decides to explicitly state in the video, I don't know why he didn't keep this in the fucking vault, because this makes no sense to just say publicly, because this embarrasses him so fucking bad. But JJ just openly stated, yeah, one of my original ideas for this video was that I was going to make it was going to be an illegal immigrant party. What? Wait, hold on. So, not only do you think, this makes no sense in any regard, not only do you think that a majority of Latinos are just super pro illegal immigrants, which we know is not true. It's actually a very common thing to hear in immigrant communities, especially in Latino communities, where immigrants come to America, like a Latino immigrant will come to America, and then they'll literally just be like, nope, no one else gets to come. Like, they're like we're the last good ones. But it also makes zero sense because illegal immigrants can't run or vote in elections. So it's like, in what sense did he think in his brain that that would even remotely be a thing? And I just have to be fucking honest. It just comes off as racist. I'm just sorry. It just comes off as racist. Like, in his brain, he was like, Mexicans and Latinos in America, illegal immigrant. That was the connection that he made in his brain. It's the equivalent of if JJ made like a Jewish party and it was just like, this party is going to be the pro-usury party. It's like, what? Why did your brain go to that? It wasn't until I started jotting notes for this episode that it literally clicked in my brain what he did. And it's just stupid. He literally just made a Mexican Bloc Québécois. Like, that's literally what he did. They just made Mexican Bloc Québécois. Because when you think about this in the sense of like, oh, Bloc Québécois, this makes no sense. Bloc Québécois, language-based issues. I'm sure French Canadians probably have a lot more unity on a lot of issues. Hence the fact that they have a fucking political party of their own. And that makes you think, like, why would JJ be stupid enough to go, Bloc Québécois is just like Mexicans in the United States? Like, what would make him go, that's like stupid? Well, simply because JJ is under some dumb fucking illusion that America and Canada are the same. Like, I thought this was like a subtle thing, but like, no. JJ's made multiple videos where he just blatantly says that quote unquote American culture is the culture of the United States and Canada. Like, I mean, like literally borderline infantile arguments. Also conveniently, literally every single other like nation in North and South America, they just don't count. You know, they just conveniently don't count. Even though if you were to literally go by like that, like it's like they have more landmass, they have way more like big like cultural like connections with each other. But you know, that doesn't count. Only America and Canada count as American culture. Like what? I wonder if JJ has any ulterior motives in this thing. Like, it's so dumb. Like, he literally wrote an article in the National Review where he wrote, it's called America First Should Include Canada. Again, conveniently, interpretation excludes Mexico, excludes the rest of Latin America for non-racist reasons. Just conveniently, their culture is too different to be shared with the U.S. Like, there's no way that their culture is, like, connected to the United States in any capacity. Like, bro, I genuinely think America has more of a cultural connection to Mexico than Canada. Genuinely. I mean, political culture especially, there's, like, a lot of similarities. Two-chamber legislature, Supreme Court, etc. President, you know, whatever. It's why I have a video series all about Mexican presidential elections. If you actually do your research and actually look into it, their political culture isn't that much different from the United States'. It has a lot of similarities, but it has enough differences that, yes, it's a different culture, yes, but it has a lot of similarities as well. I mean, similar things with Canada. There are some similarities between Canadian culture and American culture, but the insinuation that there is like one for, like, literally, he's just like, American culture is Canada and America. No, it's not. American culture is United States of America, the end. And one part of American culture is the melting pot. That people from all across the world come together and they share underneath one umbrella. And that umbrella is not you, my friend. Like, bro, I don't even get it. He made a video where he literally made a reaction video to a fucking King of the Hill episode that literally just mocks Canadians for thinking that there's some sort of like shared culture with America and that they're like close or whatever. And he just laughs at it like, yeah, this is so cool. And it just doesn't piece together the fact that, dude, they're making fun of you. What are you talking about? It just doesn't make any sense because like he'll say one thing like, oh, America and Canada, we're basically the same culture, and then the next sentence he'll say something like, it's just like, yeah, this is just so completely fucking like completely out there. Like, what? Like, dude, you have a province that speaks an entirely different language than the rest of Canada broadly. We don't have that in America. There isn't a state that you can go to in America that's just like, oh yeah, the entirety of the state just speaks an entire different language. And it really just, I mean, I'm just sorry. I keep saying sorry, but I'm not sorry. I don't care. I don't like JJ. I don't care. If he watches this video and gets sad or gets mad, I don't care. But, like, it literally just comes off as JJ is I'll be real. JJ is just an American fucking weeaboo. Like, he is. He loves America so much. He is literally that kid in class that just, like, wears, like, a fucking anime shirt and is just, like, just does jutsus in the background. Just, like, I like real Naruto. I eat ramen. Like, that is him. That is what JJ is, but for America. He's like, he walks around and be like, I wear a cowboy hat and eat a hamburger. Like, that's him. That is what JJ McCullough is. He just, dude, love America so much, just fucking move. Just move, man. Just move. Dude literally got mad at a bill in Canada that literally wanted to make more Canadian patriotic videos. He's just like, I have to stand against this. No, it's funny. The content he makes, he literally has to be dragged to talk about Canada. I'm not kidding. Every time he makes a video about Canada, he always talks about how he's like dragged to talk about it. He always wants to talk about fucking America so much. And I think it's genuinely just because like he just saw a bunch of American TV shows when he was a kid, and he's just like, I am them. Bro, I didn't watch Total Drama Island and then go, I am Canada. No, you know what I thought? I thought that show was ours. I thought we made it. The idea of a Canadian show in America did not register in my mind. The idea of Mexican shows being imported in America, that registered in my mind. That makes sense. To a lot of people, that makes sense. We import Japanese shows, we import whatever, but when Canada shows come here, we don't register it as a Canadian show. We think that's just garbage, that we made it. You don't register to us. You do not register to us, period. You think NAFTA was all about you, boy? NAFTA was about trying to get those Mexican resources. Like, bro, there are parts of America that literally look like they're just parts of Mexico. Because they used to be parts of Mexico. Like, literally, go to Arizona. Like, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Literally, they're, like, Breaking Bad. Look, everybody always makes the jokes. Like, basically, the only way you could tell it was Mexico or America in Breaking Bad is if they put the fucking filter over it. There are similarities with American and Mexican culture. There's similarities with American and Canadian culture. Your revisionism is irrelevant. Your culture is not ours. Canadian culture is not American culture. At most, your imports can be part of the melting pot, but after that, it's ours. It's not yours anymore. Back to the Total Drama thing, we hijacked that shit. When Total Drama came to America, we literally fucking took that shit and ruined everything about it. I'm not kidding. That's a real fact. Look it up. Only the first season of Total Drama was focused primarily on Canadians. It was the second season onwards that primarily focused on the American audience. There are similarities with American culture and Mexican culture. There are similarities with American culture and Canadian culture. The only difference between Canada and Mexico is a racial element. And, again, I hate to be the bear, but it's like, JJ magically is just like, oh, well, Mexico doesn't count. Doesn't count. Nope. But Canadian culture, oh, no. We're basically the same thing, am I right? Yeah, interesting. Again, the white nation, we're basically the same, bro, am I right? The brown nation, no, we're not like the same. Again, I very genuinely think that there's a lot more connection to Mexican culture than there is to Canadian culture. What happened? Like, American versus Mexico, what happened? When America and Mexico, we fought back against the fucking, like, evil tyrants that took us over. You guys bent the knee and kissed the boot. Right after that, more similarities again with Mexico than with Canada. What is a food that a lot of Americans love to eat? Tacos, burritos. That's very common to get a breakfast burrito. It's very common to get tacos for, like, lunch. What fucking Canadian food do we have? Like, America, again, we don't register you as a thing, JJ. You don't exist to us. We don't care about Canada. You only exist for us to point and laugh at you. You'd be hard-pressed to find an American to point and laugh at Mexico. Yeah, I know we just elected the fucking racist guy, but, like, come on, JJ. We know this as a fact. Well, I mean, you don't know this as a fact because you don't understand this. But, like, Americans in the comments, you guys know what's up. In fact, I might make that the fucking poll of this week. I think it will genuinely make that the poll of this fucking week or whatever. Like, what do we have? Which nation do we have more of a connection with, Canada or Mexico? I also find it funny that JJ is really, really trying to, like, make a connection with Canada and Mexico when the dude barely believes that there's a shared culture between Quebec and the rest of Canada. And yet again, he's just like, oh yeah, well, Canadian culture and American culture, they're basically the same thing. Which, very interesting, because I literally compared Mexico, because he literally clearly sees, like, Latinos as a Mexican Quebec. So, like, that is a big thing. And it makes sense why JJ just doesn't really know anything about it. Like, JJ's just incredibly ignorant on Latin American issues, and it makes sense. Canada was only 3% Latino, as opposed to the United States is almost 20% Latino population. Again, very different. And despite that JJ is kind of like well known for like he's worldly and he's been to all these other places, I haven't found a single piece of evidence that JJ's ever been to Mexico. Like, he might have been and just hasn't posted about it. He even made a joke about it on his Instagram, saying like he found out like a book about Mexico. He's like, finally, I could talk about this Mexico place. Now, it's just weird to me. It's just weird to me. It's just like does, I mean, again, it's probably just it might be a joke, but it's just like, is this like serious in any capacity? And like yeah, again, before I continue, I just need to say this again. There is similarities and differences between the cultures of America, Canada, and Mexico. Much the same way there's also differences and similarities to the cultures of Colombia, Uruguay, Argentina, Brazil, Ecuador. But again, there are similarities and there are differences for all of them. There's like Latin American culture is considered one thing, but there's also like there are a lot of differences between different cultures of like different areas of Latin America. But there's enough similarities that there are people that go like, yeah. And if you want to do the whole like American culture is multiple countries, then you have to include Mexico. Any exclusion of Mexico is just racist. I'm sorry, JJ. And there's a reason why he thinks this, and there's a reason why he thinks all this, and this is the reason why his cultural analysis does that. It's because of JJ's politics. JJ's conservative. He doesn't particularly hide it for the most part, but it's one weird thing. Like, you need to remember, like, again, I said a lot of lefties and liberals go to his channel, but JJ's just like an open conservative. Now, I mean, there's one thing of like going to his channel and seeing like a different perspective, and if that's the reason why you subscribe, that's one thing. But it's just like, no, there are people who go to his channel and like who are left-wing liberal, and they take his videos and like they put it into their own like brains. They're like, yes, which leads to some people. I don't remember exactly where I saw this, but I saw there was like this thing where like people like JJ McCullough is actually this covert conservative who's secretly trying to infiltrate like normal YouTube, trying like secretly brainwash people into being like covert conservatives, like conservative propagandists. Especially considering his videos basically don't have much to do with politics, they have to do with culture. And are primarily targeted to an American audience, so it's like, yeah, that's one thing. I think I even remember someone said like I remember seeing like something where it's like he explicitly said like he was a little bit miffed that a lot of like culture channels on YouTube were like primarily left-wing or liberal, and he was just like, I wanted to introduce my perspective to this. It's like, but like, that's like kind of like one thing. It's like, you can't really blame him that much. I mean, like even if he's not doing it intentionally, it's just like, yeah, that's just kind of what's going to happen. It's like, yeah, no shit, a guy who like, it's like, no shit, a conservative guy has a conservative analysis and posts videos about his conservative analysis. And I mean, again, he doesn't hide it. He doesn't like say like, oh, I'm not a conservative, and like secretly like loves being conservative, but he's like open about it. I mean, I wouldn't say it's the exact same thing, but it's like my channel is kind of like a little bit of a sneaky little ploy where it's like my channel name. It wasn't like originally intended to be that, but like it's now a sneaky ploy where it's like my channel is called Pluribus Unum, and then it's like people going, oh, generic history channel, and I go, psych, socialism, baby. I mean, it's not like I hide the fact I'm a socialist. I'm not that I hide any of these facts that I'm a socialist or progressive or whatever. I don't hide that fact. But it's also like my videos are explicitly more politically oriented, so it's like a little bit more noticeable. Like, I mean, I made a video about the recent Mexican presidential election, and a newcomer literally came to the channel and immediately clocked the fact that I was pro-AMLO. And I was like incredibly fair to like both AMLO and AMLO critics in that video. I was very fair. I brought up a lot of the controversies that AMLO had during his administration. Bias is gonna happen even if you shoot for objectivity. Yeah, whatever. But this is the thing I know, but it seems that no one else on the left or liberals know. JJ's just a conservative. Like, he can dance around it all he wants, but at the end of the day, JJ is just a conservative. There is functionally no difference in his politics or beliefs than your average American conservative commentator. The way a lot of people like do this is like they think like, oh well, no, he has to be different because he's like, you know, he's a little fabulous. You know what I'm saying? He's like, no, just because he's gay doesn't mean anything. Like, their brain thinks like, oh, he's Canadian and gay, so like, obviously, it's different. It's, like, it's the same thing with like people were like doing the thing with like Aaron O'Toole, where it's like, look at their conservatives, and it's like Aaron O'Toole's like, I think that climate change is a very serious disaster. But again, JJ is just a conservative. He is a conservative. He's not a special brand of conservative. He's a conservative. And if you do any research, you'll realize this. They naturally go, oh, well, he's a Canadian gay, so obviously he must be better than like American conservatives. No. JJ made a video about when the Tories elected Pierre Paravello, and it was literally just a puff piece. It was literally just a puff piece. Yeah, Canadian conservatives got a new leader, Pierre Paravello, blah, blah, blah. Like, that was the first time he ever got into actual legitimate controversy, because, like, he just gave a literal puff piece interview to Pierre Paravello. He hasn't given any of these same treatments to Jagmeet Singh or Justin Trudeau or whatever. And I don't think he's ever made a video critical of Pierre Paravello. And he published an article on the 16th of this year. It'll be linked in the description, I hope. I have these in a bookmark, so I have to do my best to try to make sure that these actually get in the description. But, like, it's an article, and it's literally, in no uncertain terms, tell me if this doesn't sound like just every other conservative ever. Listen, our woke teachers and professors who emphasize the importance of decolonization, the curriculum, obnoxious because they're fostering dangerous disrespect for Canadian history and undermining the heroic legacy of Sir John A. Macdonald and other nation builders? Or because they're filling students' brains with useless theories at a time when practical skills are what's necessary to triumph in a competitive job market? For those who don't know about Canadian politics, because, you know, you're a normal person and don't give a shit about Canada, the man JJ is defending in this article, John A. Macdonald, created a tax for Chinese immigrants to discourage them from entering Canada because if not, quote, the Aryan character of the future of British America should be destroyed, unquote, and wanted to forbid all the existing Chinese citizens from voting because if they were able to, quote, they might be able to vote of the whole province, and their Chinese representatives would foist Asiatic principles, immoralities, and eccentricities on the House, which are abhorrent to the Aryan race and Aryan principles, unquote. Who's also the architect for the reservation schools. You know, the ones that had 30,000 children murdered. JJ wrote an article basically saying, like, why are schools teaching about hating John Macdonald? What? Literally, boomer conservative critiques about, like, man, when I was in school, this was taught, and now they're teaching the kids this in school. What's going on? Useless theories. I wonder what he could be referring to. Or how about this part? Quote, should militant pro-Palestinian protesters be hated because they're undermining Canada's credibility as a stalwart defender of Israel in the wake of October 7th, or because they make Canadians feel unsafe at the mall? To which he links a video of pro-Palestinian protesters in a mall, while other patrons are just going about their day. Nothing about the video is even remotely scary. I've seen more crowded malls when there's just like bro, Black Friday, ever heard of that? Like, literally, it is just, there's nothing scary about the video except a bunch of Arabs are just standing around. What about that is scary, JJ? It's just boomer conservatism. Like, again, that's why I say there is nothing functionally different from you coming to me and saying, I watched JJ McCullough to I watched Ben Shapiro. There is nothing different between the two. Like, and JJ himself has tried to hide this fact. Like, he's tried to hide, like, his, like, how, like, radical he really is. Like, one of the big things he likes to do is like, oh, unlike other conservatives, I'm not anti-left. Like, it's a thing I've heard him say multiple times. It's like, it's either something like I'm not anti-left or anti-whatever, or anti-liberal or whatever. It's like, he's tried to say something along the lines of like, oh, you see, while other conservatives base their entire politics on being against the left, I don't do that. Bro, that is just not true. That is not true at all. Literally every single time he has made a video that about where the subject slightly leans to the left, he just shits on them. Just quite literally. He made a video, he made a video where he claimed that anti-Semitism was he made a video about anti-Semitism and then claimed, oh, you see, well, right-wing anti-Semitism has gone away. Now it's more of a left-wing issue. Again, just throwing them under the bus, basically, doing the same thing. Was like, well, you see, Palestine, of course. And then afterwards, literally, I remember it being a week afterwards, a bunch of prominent conservative accounts just started openly shitting on Jews. Like, I mean, just unequivocally. Like, literally, Charlie Kirk, Elon Musk, Candace Owens, just like the week afterwards, literally just like started talking about like Jews and just hating on Jews. Like yes, there are some people who are on the quote unquote left that are anti-Semitic. Yeah, I've made a video about this before. But, like, again, the insinuation that anti-Semitism is like this big problem on the left is just ludicrous. And similar to American conservatives, JJ takes people who are not even remotely left and then pretends that they're, like, fucking, like, Maoists. Literally. But he hates Justin Trudeau. Like, JJ just fucking hates Justin Trudeau. And one of the reasons why he hates Justin Trudeau is very simple. Because he stated in multiple videos, he thinks that Justin Trudeau and the NDP and Jagmeet Singh, basically the same thing. It's not true at all, period. But he just says that. He says it to his audience, and it's just like, well, I mean, if he says it enough time, then it must be true. Much in the same way where American conservatives go, Biden is basically a fucking, like, Biden is a, like, socialist. It's like, well, I guess if they say it enough times, it must be true. His massive, like, I mean, I've watched his videos multiple times. I've never seen him provide any sort of citation about, like, why Justin Trudeau's, like, some sort of, like, far left or socialist or even progressive figure. Like, I mean, aside, again, from, like, gay rights and, like, social progressivism, basically nothing. And it's just so fucking weird because, again, shows how lack of understanding of politics in his home, like, country. But he pays super extra attention to American politics because for some reason it just doesn't work in America. He literally just like, oh, you see, I'm actually able to piece together the fact that Joe Biden is actually not left wing and is in fact actually like a representative of my politics, and Trump is like, oh, nasty, disgusting, and blah blah blah. But again, it doesn't work because it's just like, wait, Trudeau and Biden are way more similar than Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh. Like, that's just fact. Ideologically, the parties and figure, again, it just seems like an objective fact for most people. But for some reason, JJ's just like, nope. Sure, there's like a different era of like liberalism, but like ultimately, Biden and Trudeau are liberals. Jagmeet Singh is not a liberal. So in what world can you go, I love Joe Biden, but hate Justin Trudeau? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And it's like he loves Pierre Paravello, but he hates Donald Trump. Even though, as of now, Pierre Paravello is almost indistinguishable from fucking Trump. This wasn't always the case, but ever since he became the Conservative Party leader, that's always been the case. Like, literally. To reiterate, JJ is a conservative. The insinuation that he's somehow different from other conservatives is laughable. Again, they're just like, oh, well, he's gay. Dude, 3 years into his YouTube career, he published a paper literally said, time for a compromise on transgenderism, where he says such wonderful things like, tolerance does not necessitate a purge of any and all public manifestations of the gender binary in the name of extreme exceptions to the rule. Accepting transgenderism is an inescapable human phenomenon. It does not mean that there is nothing left to learn about, or as cautious or even skeptical attitudes towards purported manifestations of it as never legitimate. In particular, the risk of psychologically and physically damaging children by encouraging or enabling them to embrace transgender identities before pubescence must be acknowledged as a valid concern backed by credible evidence. Which has just been proven ultimately wrong multiple times, again and again and again. But JJ does the whole conservative thing like, oh, well, there's evidence that there's a difference. Like, no, you see, no, actually, no, you don't understand. No. He also is like, I mean, it's... Like, and the reason why he does, because the article does go on to say, like, he tries to, like, defend himself in the article, trying to be like, oh, well, you see, it's, like, a little different from gay people, because, like, gay people, like, it's impossible to, like, be anti-gay nowadays. It's like, well, that's not true at all. That's not true at all. America is literally right on this episode of, like, fucking, like, getting rid of gay rights. And he's also made videos being like, oh, well, being gay is annoying. Being gay, because I don't like being, like, one of those flashy gays. I don't like being one of those, like, flashy, like, femme, like, hello, it's me. Like, he's like, I don't like that. I don't like, I just want to be, like, myself. I just want to, like, you know, recluse myself or whatever. And thinking, like, he even, like, made a video where, like, he fucking hated the pride flag. And it's just like, what? Bro, one of the biggest symbols of LGBTQ rights is just like, nope, I don't like that. It's like, what the fuck are you even doing? It's basically the same thing I've said about, like, liberal critique in the past, even though he I guess I don't even know, because there's one video he made a video where he literally just like says like post-war liberalism was great, and it's like, I guess you're a liberal now, what? But like that analysis, like he really doesn't understand that we had to go through like the flashy gays, and we had to go through multiple like rights, like gay people didn't just like. It's just weird. It's just like the way he writes it in the article, it makes it seem like the world just magically decided to like become pro-gay. That's not how it works. Gay people had to fight for their rights every day, JJ. A fight that trans people are trying to do right now. Like, back when you were a kid, they used scientific arguments to say that you being gay is wrong. It's unnatural because when pee-pee go with pee-pee, no baby, pee-pee going vivi, yes baby. They use scientific arguments against it. They use fucking scientific arguments against integration. Like, what? Like, this makes no sense, especially from a guy who like claimed to be like a cultural analyst. But you know what? I could brush against all that. No, I can't. But let's just say I can. But there's one more thing. There's one more thing in this video that makes me like. It goes from me just like I could go from like just saying like I don't care about him and just move past it. But there's one thing that changes my feelings from JJ. From like the first things could just be, you know, just like, you know, whatever, miffed. Like I could ignore his existence. Then the second part could be like, okay, I dislike him. This is where it evolves to full-on hate. And I'll just come out and say it. JJ's lies. I wanted to originally start this section by being more generous and trying to be like coy and be like, well, okay, he's like a little bit like he does a little bit of things here there. He's like a little bit ignorant. He's just like a little uninformed. But no, I'll just say it. JJ McCullough has openly lied to his audience multiple times, and I'm sick and tired of pretending that he hasn't. This genuinely is not surprising because, in my mind, in order to be a conservative, especially a conservative commentator in the modern day, you either have to be fucking stupid as shit or be a snake oil salesman for people stupid as shit. And prior, I could have just said JJ was stupid and move on. But no, I think JJ is just intentionally, maliciously lying to people. Given JJ's history, career, and politics, I honestly cannot come to any other conclusions about any of the things I'm about to say. One, he made a video that I remember it originally being titled "Why the Left in Canada Loves the Monarchy," but I can't find any like Wayback Machine or anything of the sort that says like that was the title. So maybe I just misremembered it. But I remember it sort of sitting in my head. It's just like I really can't imagine that it would be anything else, especially considering the way he talks about it in the video. Because the way he talks about it in the video, he also very much says like the left, the left, the left, the left. He makes this claim like, oh, the left loves the monarchy, then literally explains how Canada's two major left-wing parties, the New Democrats and the Bloc Québécois, don't like the monarchy. And he doesn't consider the Green Party even a legitimate party, so it's like, what else could he mean? Oh, when he means left, he means the Liberals. Of course he does. It's the same thing when he does that thing where it's like, well, the left in Canada is actually the nationalistic ones. Meanwhile, Canadian nationalists are all right-wingers. Literally go on the Wikipedia page and you'll see. JJ's ears perked up, and I think he knows what's coming next. But we have to wait for that, my boy. Even going so far as to cite an editorial by the Globe and Mail as proof that the Canadian left is just so pro-monarchy because, quote, the Globe and Mail was Canada's leading center-left newspaper. I might include this part in the video, I might not, but I have a funny video that explains this, but I'll say it anyways, regardless. It's a blatant fucking lie. That is just a blatant lie. The Globe and Mail has always been a right-wing newspaper. Literally, I've been to every single news bias organization, and they label it as right-wing. And in all but 3 elections from 1984 to 2015, they endorsed the Conservative Party. The only times they did not endorse the Conservative Party were when they thought the Conservative Party was not ready for leadership. Not because they didn't like the Conservatives, but because they just literally said, we don't feel that they are ready for leadership. Because they just elected a new leader, and they're just I'm not sure if these guys are the right. I mean, I didn't go out of my way to try and prove them wrong. I just wanted to see. I was just I never heard of this. I just never heard of this Canadian publication because I'm an American. I don't give a fuck about Canada. But it's just let me see if it's center left newspaper. And then literally every single source that I saw, it's right wing. It's literally just every source I have seen describes it as right-wing. And this didn't happen until later, but like, want to know what happened when Justin Trudeau resigned? Globe and Mail, every single editorial was basically like, yes, Justin Trudeau's gone. Sounds like a center-left newspaper, right? Screaming for the center-left guy to leave. And literally, the bias organizations even go so far as to say that it was originally started as a hard-right newspaper, but then it migrated to the center-right. And on the video, I commented. I said, hey, JJ, every single source that I've seen says that the Globe and Mail is a center-right newspaper. So why'd you call it a center-left newspaper? And I gave all these citations to explain why it did this. Like, here are all their endorsements that they made. Here are the, here's like literally every single news organization that says that they're like center-right. JJ's response was literally just, quote, you clearly don't know how newspaper endorsements work. No one calls the Globe center-right. Except I literally just said every single news analyst organization does call it center-right. Literally, I just went to like fucking like Twitter and like stuff and just started typing in like the Globe and Mail center-left, and I couldn't find fucking anything. J.J. McCullough is the only person ever I have seen describe this newspaper as center-left. Ever. So again, like trying to blatantly lie to my face. Well, blatantly lie to me through a keyboard. But like, let's think about this for 2 seconds. Remember, JJ is a conservative. Member of the Conservative Party of Canada. Fucking like twiddles around with fucking Pierre Parvello. Think about it. The reason why the Globe and Mail registers to him as center-left is because he is to the right of the Globe and Mail. And not just right enough to be like, oh, they're center-right or even centrist. No, he is so right-wing, to him, the Globe and Mail registers as center-left. The only conclusion I can think of is like all of the conservative like people that they twiddle around with, like they go like, oh yeah, it's center left because they're so right wing. That should be our first clue to maybe like not listen to him in regards to Canadian politics. Next is his toy video, where like he literally just blatantly runs cover for the Parker brothers stealing Lizzie McGee's idea of the landlord game, claiming that there is some sort of nuance to the situation that just flat out does not exist. For those who have no clue what happened, Lizzie McGee created a game called the Landlord's Game to espouse the idea of Georgism, got it patented and everything. The game got somewhat popular, spawning a bunch of unlicensed spin-offs that were played around the nation. Then came a man by the name of Charles Darrow, who took the game, removed the Georgist way of interpreting it, and patented that and sold it to the Parker brothers, who knew where the game came from because McGee tried to sell it to them earlier to no avail. They had worked with her in the past, they knew of her game, but they just didn't want to. And then eventually, after some legal litigation, they had to like basically pay her the smallest amount that they could in order to avoid any sort of legal trouble. All the while refusing to give her credit during her lifetime, and it wasn't until she died that they inevitably had to give her credit. Now here's the thing. Unless J.J. McCullough is like this really hardcore, like anti-patent, anti-intellectual property guy, then I honestly can't imagine how you can interpret this story as anything else except for blatant thievery. In which case, that'd be based. If that were true, join the club, buddy. You should make more videos about like bashing intellectual property and intellectual like property rights and stuff. Boy, based. I'm on that same trade. I'm anti-copyright and IP laws for this very same reason. The laws that were made to protect Lizzie did jack shit for her. But considering Gigi's a conservative and pro-capitalist, I don't see why he would be that at all. So clearly he's just doing this because he just wants to like Parker Brothers. Darrow, they're amazing, wonderful. But the video that I think is one of the most blatant pieces of lying and like misinformation from his channel is this. His video on Wikipedia. It's got some of the biggest aspects of blatantly lying that I've seen. Like, in every single word, that whole video is just a fucking lie. Like, I mean, I already made a video where I defended Wikipedia's honor, and like, I shit on the video just for like, just being a shitty video. It's a stupid video. I don't think that is a good argument. It makes no good argument. It's basically borderline just boomer conservative arguments. But it's basically what he does. It's like, boomer conservative arguments. Books are better. Why? I don't know. They're just better. I miss the old internet. It was better. Why? I don't know. It just was. Like, I mean, it just comes off as like blatantly just like, oh yeah. Like, I mean, I think, honestly, the crux of his Wikipedia argument was literally just like, if you don't have the money, you shouldn't be able to access information. Because it's literally just what it comes to. It's like, if you don't have the money to buy the book, fresh out of luck, buddy. Don't have the money to do that? Stinks for you. That's literally what it comes off as. I mean, again, I said this before. I said this in the video where it's like, boy, JJ, I would love to like read fucking like these newspaper articles about this issue. Too bad they literally demand that I give them like $5 a month. Democracy dies in darkness, my ass. I don't believe in that. I believe everybody should be able to access every piece of information that has been made in the history of humanity. There should be no barriers, whether it be financial or like basically we live in a capitalist society, so financial is probably the biggest reason why. But these lies are not like, he like lies and says like, oh, the sky is green, it's blue. It's more lies by omission. The first lie by omission that he did was when he cites a historian named Matthew White as one of the main reasons why he's like hates Wikipedia. He's like, I went to this historian's website, Matthew White, a prominent historian that like says that Wikipedia is bad. And it's just like, yeah, he's not a historian. He's a librarian by trade with zero credentials as a student of history. Like, I mean, not to diss that fact, but I'm just saying, JJ doesn't say that fact. JJ says he's a historian, and it's just like, appeal to authority. He's a historian, so we should trust him. But you can't even do that because he's not an actual authority on the issue. Basically, he's just a man with an opinion that has basically the same level of credence as my opinion on Wikipedia. But of course, this one, I didn't know this at the time of making that video. If I knew this at the time of making the video, that would have been like the fucking main point. But this is like the fucking biggest important thing. Okay, so JJ, he says at the beginning of the video, he talks about how the fact that he's never used Wikipedia while researching on YouTube, and that in 2011, he installed a blocker to prevent getting Wikipedia on Google, and goes on this long rant about like, oh, Wikipedia, no, Wikipedia stinks, Wikipedia is bad, blah, 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 Wikipedia bad, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, all that's true. JJ McCullough has not, as far as I know, has not used Wikipedia since 2011, as far as he's stated, and as far as I know, except that brief time he unblocked it for the Lizzie McGee case, just because, he just wanted to check, as far as I know. And as far as I know, he hasn't used Wikipedia to research his videos. But he neglects to mention the fact that for 8 years prior, JJ was a massive Wikipedian. From 2003 to 2011, JJ McCullough had produced a whopping 11,446 edits on Wikipedia, including 3 times to self-promote himself. The logs are all in the description. Like, I mean, I was fucking floored when I saw it. At first, I thought it was funny when I just saw it. I was like, oh yeah, that's funny. JJ McCullough tried to add his own image on Wikipedia. He tried to add his own stuff on Wikipedia. But it's just like, then I actually looked into it. I actually looked at the logs that the people posted. It's like, wait. I was like, what? He just lied and didn't mention the fact that he was a Wikipedian for 8 fucking years? I mean, I was even skeptical. Because I think somebody said, like, JJ claimed that the Wikipedian, like, this wasn't him. But it's just like, look, no. Everything is just blatant. It's blatantly obvious it's JJ. The username of the account used to be JJ, just blatantly JJ. It's not anymore. It was changed after he left the site and tried to wipe the page from existence. There are multiple logs where he talks about his editorial cartoon, Filibuster Cartoons. Like, he's like, hey, I have this cool website. You guys should check it out. Just in chat logs. And it's just like, oh yeah, Filibuster Cartoons. By the way, who owns that? JJ McCullough. There's even a message where he jokes about the fact, like, oh, I didn't want to add a political cartoon of my political cartoon on the Wikipedia article for political cartoon because I don't want to self-promote myself. I thought it was too much of a blatant self-promotion. Well, I mean, except for the time that you blatantly tried to add your own page multiple times, including, like, you tried to give it its own Wikipedia page, and then for 2 other times, you tried to make your own fucking Wikipedia page, and they denied it because you weren't relevant enough. Now, none of those reasons are why he left Wikipedia, so I want to clear the record about that. I just want to make that abundantly clear. That's not why he left, because there's some people who do, like, go like, oh, well, whatever. He couldn't make his own Wikipedia page, so he left. It's like, that's not entirely true, as far as I know. But it just come off that way a little bit to an extent. Like, oh yeah, I couldn't add a Wikipedia page, so I guess no Wikipedia. I'm not even going to deny the fact that maybe J.J. McCullough actually did see, like, some flaws in Wikipedia, and actually whatever. Like, I mean, I don't necessarily think that all of his criticisms would even be valid. His criticisms aren't even valid at all. But I mean, some of his criticisms could have made sense if he actually acknowledged this fact. Like for example, Wikipedia is such like a tight elitist group of people. He could have then said, in my experience, blah, 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 blah. But it also could have come from like, wait, but like, was the elitism like them not allowing you to, like, basically, I think really this is the biggest problem. Like, there are 3 things that can be taken away from this part of the analysis. Like, JJ having a Wikipedia article for 8 years and then not making a video about Wikipedia, not telling people that he was on Wikipedia for 8 fucking years, and there could be a couple takeaways from this. 1, it can make his arguments look like they're just self-centered and not based on any actual reasons, which makes sense, given the fact that his criticisms are pretty, like, not interesting or even remotely, like, valid. 2, and I think this is what JJ thought in his head, that this could show a huge level of hypocrisy. Like, that really could show a lot of things, like, especially he says he's trying to take this huge moral high ground. There are a lot of people that, like, I mean, I don't know if this is necessarily true, but like, this example popped in my head. It's like if you like decided to like make this huge anti-drug thing, and then turns out that you used to be a drug user. Like, they might think like, I might need to hide this because if this comes out, then I'll look like a hypocrite. It's like, why would that make you look like a hypocrite? I couldn't like. To JJ, it thinks, like, oh, I might become a hypocrite if I use Wikipedia for this a long period of time, and then I just stop. It's like, no, that's not how it works. Time is linear. You could have just said, like, I used to use Wikipedia, and I don't use Wikipedia. Here's why I don't use Wikipedia. And your arguments could have had actual validity to them. Sure, you probably still would have gotten shit for, like, the self-aggrandizing parts of it, but yeah, whatever. You could have also had actually something legs to stand on. But JJ couldn't do that because that would have been hypocrisy. It would have come off wrong. When it's like, no, it makes your arguments look worse, especially because if you're trying to do this moral high ground of like, I never use Wikipedia, blah, 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 then it just comes off like, then how can you know anything about Wikipedia? And like, what? But this is, like, I could forgive both of those things, whatever. Those are irrelevant. This is the thing that makes me go like, okay, this is why I don't like him. This is why. This is the ultimate big reason. The fact that he tried to hide this from you. Like, again, if he mentioned at any point in the video, I used to like Wikipedia, now I don't, here's why, it would have been understandable. I would have been like, fine, whatever. But no, JJ decided to make a video about Wikipedia, detail all these things about Wikipedia, and then fucking not tell you a very vital piece of the information. He made the intentional choice to not tell you about his 8 years as a Wikipedian. Like, you don't just forget that. You don't just forget that. Especially when you're making a video about it. You don't just forget that. He did that on purpose. And not just, oh, he did it on purpose. He did it, and he tried to cover his tracks to make sure that you couldn't figure it out. Like, I mean, there's some people might go like, oh, well, that's just old shame for him. No. That's not old shame for him. That is an intentional lie to your audience. Like, Linkara doesn't mention the fucking Lightbringer, like, comics when he makes his fucking, like, a Top the Fourth Wall episodes, because it's not relevant. If he ever makes a video about the Lightbringer and then just doesn't mention, oh yeah, this is my comic, I wrote this, then that'd be a major fucking problem. Dude, you made a very active choice to, like, dude, I opened up the fact that I made, like, a fucking cringe stick figure fucking animation channel when I didn't need to. Because I'm pretty transparent, not gonna lie. I mean, if I do say so myself, I'm not that transparent, but I'm, like, transparent enough. I try to be transparent enough. I fucking went on, like, a little bit of a rant when I go into, like, small, like, I get sad when I unintentionally misinformation. JJ intentionally made misinformation. Like, last year I made a screw-up video where I literally said, like, I felt bad when I didn't mention, like PewDiePie liking a fucking, like, author, because it could have given you more information on the fucking, like, PewDiePie is a fascist argument. I felt bad for that. even though you could still say that I mean, even to this day, I don't think that necessarily like changes that much of my argument to an extent. I think it's just like whatever, but like that regardless, I felt bad for that. JJ blatantly, intentionally lied to you, and he's never mentioned this. People brought this up to him multiple times. He's not mentioned this. I guarantee you, if JJ actually watches this video and actually decides to respond to it, this section will not be mentioned. This will not be mentioned at all. Because he doesn't fucking care. But this is really one of the most important things to me. Because it's like, if JJ intentionally lied to you about this, intentionally hid information from you about this, what else is he fucking hiding? Not about his personal life. I don't give a fuck. But when he makes a video about a specific issue, how do you know JJ is not, like, hiding a piece of information that is very relevant? Like, again, when I made the fucking, like, Mexican, like, election video, I left no stone unturned. That video could have been way shorter. I left no stone unturned. I could have ignored the fucking femicide arguments if I'm like, oh, well, the femicide arguments are not necessarily the best. No, I didn't. I brought it up because it was important. It's important. People in Mexico were concerned about the rights of femicides, so it's an important thing to mention about the video. I could have said, Abrazos no balazos was good. No ifs, ands, or buts. No, I brought up the people who were criticizing it. I could have said, Marcelo Ebrard's arguments about, like, the fucking, like, election were stupid and irrelevant, so I'm not going to mention them at all. No, I brought them up regardless. JJ intentionally said this very vital piece of information about me and Wikipedia's history. I'm just going to not mention it at all and hope nobody figures it out. And that's the dumbest thing. It's like, it also shows stupidity, because, like, did he really think nobody would fucking look? Did you think nobody from his fucking Wikipedia time would, like, bring this up ever? It's like, what? And that I fucking can't forgive. I can't forgive a liar. Again, this couldn't have been an accident. Like, I mean, if this is an accident, then he's just fucking stupid. If this is an accident, JJ McCullough is just stupid and doesn't deserve your support. If this is intentional, he is intentionally a bad person and doesn't deserve your support. And those are my thoughts on JJ McCullough. I mean, in the most honest sense, I hope this is a good enough argument to actually make you reconsider subbing to him. Thanks for watching this video. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the bell to notify when a future video of mine comes out. And if you just want content from me, consider supporting me on Patreon.